In a quiet suburb of Buenos Aires, Sofia had spent over 3 decades raising her son, Mateo. She was a single mother, and like many parents, her love for her child was boundless. From the moment Mateo was born, Sofia dedicated her life to ensuring he had everything he needed. She worked long hours at a local school as a teacher, providing not only the essentials but also every little thing that made Mateo's life comfortable. She paid for his schooling, music lessons, and even his gaming consoles as a teenager. Now, at 32, Mateo was still living at home. He hadn't moved out after college, and the promises of finding a job and getting his own place seemed to fade into the background as the years rolled on. Sofia, now 58, often found herself wondering how she had ended up still supporting her grown son emotionally, financially, and in every other way. There was a time when Sofia thought her overgiving was temporary. After all, Mateo had struggled to find steady work after graduation. His degree in music production, a field he was passionate about, didn't translate into immediate job offers, and Sofia, not wanting to see him struggle, allowed him to stay at home rent-free. But what started as a temporary arrangement had slowly turned into a routine. Sofia did Mateo's laundry, cooked his meals, and even paid for his car insurance. She had hoped that by being supportive, she would give him the time and space to figure out his next steps in life. Yet, as the years passed, the same conversations about jobs and independence grew increasingly strained. Mateo wasn't moving forward, and neither was Sofia. Sofia's love for her son was fierce. But now, as she neared retirement, she felt tired. She had spent years putting Mateo first, delaying vacations, saving less for her own future, and even postponing small home improvements to ensure he was comfortable. It wasn't that Mateo was lazy. He helped around the house and even had some part-time work, but Sofia knew that he was capable of more. The problem was that she had made it too easy for him to remain comfortable, to stay in a space where he didn't have to face the challenges of adulthood head-on. Sofia's story is one many parents can relate to. Across the United States, Canada, Argentina, and Mexico, parents often find themselves in similar situations supporting their adult children long after they should have encouraged them to take the reins of their own lives. In many cases, this dynamic begins from a place of love, but over time, it becomes a cycle of dependency that's difficult to break. For Sofia, it was hard to pinpoint when it all started. As a child, Mateo had been a dreamer, creative, intelligent, and always a little out of step with the practicalities of life. He had big ideas but struggled to turn them into reality. Sofia had stepped in every time. When Mateo was younger, this was natural. She helped him with school projects, paid for extra tutors, and guided him through difficult moments. But now, those small interventions had grown into a full-fledged lifestyle, where Mateo didn't need to take responsibility because Sofia had always been there to catch him. This dynamic is common in families where boundaries between parenting and caretaking blur over time. Many parents, like Sofia, don't realize how their constant support might be preventing their children from becoming self-sufficient adults. It's not about laziness, it's about an environment that has unintentionally fostered dependence. Sofia's enabling, though unintentional, was keeping Mateo from achieving his full potential. Mateo had become comfortable. Why would he push himself to find full-time work when he knew his mom would always help cover his bills? Why would he move out when the comforts of home made it easy to stay? For Mateo, there was no urgency to change, and for Sofia, it was a painful realization. As a teacher, Sofia had always believed in the importance of guiding young people toward independence. but in her own home she had unknowingly held Matteo back. What she hadn't realized was that by continuing to support him in this way, she wasn't just exhausting herself, she was preventing Matteo from learning the valuable lessons that come from taking full responsibility for his own life. The consequences went beyond Sophia's financial strain. Emotionally, Sophia felt like she was still carrying the weight of motherhood long after most of her peers had shifted into the role of advisor rather than provider. She had never expected to still be packing lunches and worrying about her son's future in her late 50s. One evening, after another long day at work, Sophia sat down to review her finances. Retirement was fast approaching, and she realized that despite all her hard work, she hadn't saved as much as she should have. Every extra dollar had gone to helping Matteo. She wanted to travel in her later years, to visit her family in Uruguay, maybe even buy a small cottage near the coast for herself. But those dreams seemed increasingly out of reach the longer she continued to subsidize her son's life. Sophia decided to take a step back and reevaluate her approach. She didn't want to cut Matteo off completely, but she knew that for both of their sakes, she had to help him move forward. This would mean some tough conversations and setting clear expectations. Sophia sat down one evening and mapped out a plan, not just for Matteo, but for herself. She started by establishing small, manageable goals for him. She would no longer cover his car insurance, he had to take care of that. She asked him to contribute to household expenses, even if it was a small amount to start. And most importantly, they talked about a timeline for when he would move out. The initial conversation wasn't easy. Matteo had grown used to the way things were, and Sophia's new approach felt abrupt to him. But Sophia stood firm. She reminded him that it wasn't a punishment, but an opportunity for him to build his own life. She encouraged him to pursue his passions in music, but also to take on responsibilities outside of that dream. Over the next few months, things began to shift. Matteo started looking for more stable work. He picked up a few extra shifts at his part-time job and began saving money to move into his own place. Slowly, Sophia started to see changes in his attitude. He was still the dreamer he had always been, but now there was a sense of purpose behind his actions. For Sophia, the hardest part wasn't asking Matteo to take responsibility, it was learning to let go. She had spent 32 years taking care of her son, and now she had to step back and allow him to take care of himself. It was a difficult transition, but it was also liberating. Sophia began to focus more on herself, on her own dreams and desires. She started saving for that cottage near the coast, planning trips with friends, and spending her weekends doing things she enjoyed, without feeling guilty. Sophia's story is not unique. Parents across the world face the challenge of knowing when to step back and let their children take charge of their own lives. The line between love and enabling can be blurry, and many parents, like Sophia, find themselves stuck in a cycle of over-caretaking. But breaking that cycle is essential for both parents and children. It allows the child to grow into a capable, independent adult, and it gives the parent the freedom to live their own life, free from the burdens of constant caregiving. In the end, what Sophia owed Matteo wasn't a life of unending support, it was the opportunity to build his own future. By setting boundaries, she gave him the space to grow, and in doing so, she found the space to rediscover herself. Sophia and Matteo's journey is one of love, growth, and difficult decisions. It's a reminder that true parenting is about preparing our children to live without us, not creating a situation where they depend on us forever. By setting healthy boundaries and encouraging independence, parents can give their children the greatest gift of all, the ability to stand on their own 2 feet. Thank you for watching the video to the end. If you liked the video, put a like, subscribe to our channel, share this video on social networks, and write your opinion in the comments. It will help to promote this video in YouTube so that as many people who need it heard this information.